Good morning. This is one of my favorite clubs in town, not just because of the joyousness that you all expressed, but even more so because of the deep connection so many of you have with the Broadway Center, serving as board presidents, board members, donors. Pretty much half the room, I would say, is deeply engaged with the Broadway Center. So it's a chance for us to kind of give you a quick preview of the season today. Karen, when you were offering your reflection time, I, in my off-color way, thought you were about to go into a limerick. There once was a girl named Gabby. So I thought I would finish that for you. There once, although I won't, I know Chris Algio is disappointed there is no Nantucket in this, but there once was a girl named Gabby on whose bones there was no flabby. Instead, we watched her prowess and her muscles lead her to gold as we exclaimed, "Oh my, how she hustles." Okay, that's about as good as I could do with a little bit of time. And I just also wanted to mention, Dan, I don't know if your daughter knows that she's been working on kinesio tape. I've been, with allergies, I've been working on sneezio tape, and it's really, really good stuff. So, with those horrible jokes, I'm going to go right into our season preview. And, okay, so on September 22 and 23, it'll be our second year of what we call the Fall Free-for-All. This is where we throw open the doors to the theaters, and we have about 75 artists performing on Saturday and Sunday. It's all free, and last year we had about 5,000 people. We're already looking as though we're going to have about 10,000 this year, so it's a lot of fun. Every kind of artwork you can imagine there. Alfred Hitchcock series this year, North by Northwest, will lead off for us.
Find a tasteful little murder on every guided tour, now do you?
Hello there.
Tell me, why are you so good to me?
Shall I climb up and tell you why? Now I know you aren't a murderer.
You don't.
A train may be an old-fashioned way to travel, but an upper berth can be a lovely place to go when it's your time to go.
Okay. 1959 and they were talking about that. Then we're offering Psycho right before Halloween.
Here we have a quiet little motel, when in fact it has now become known as the scene of the crime.
Do you have a vacancy?
Oh, we have 12 vacancies. Is anyone at home? Oh, that must be my mother.
Cheery little comedy. And then after Psycho, we'll close that series with The Birds. We have been offering films as retrospectives for a number of years. To have a good free, not free, but low-cost ticket. Also, the low-cost ticket includes popcorn. So they've been incredibly popular. They sell out every time. So this year we have two series, Alfred Hitchcock, and then we'll talk about the next one. Wayne Brady, the star of Whose Line Is It Anyway, will be here.
My spacecraft by noon. All of the women, all of them. Let me talk to the tribe. I'm a I'm so happy that you came here tonight to come to our show. And if you want a third child, if you want it half mixed, let a brother know.
He is one of the most talented people in show business. I've presented him a number of times in other communities, and he's just phenomenal. So we're really excited to have him. This year, we have joined forces with the Tacoma Philharmonic, and we are doing an all-Americana series in classical music this year. This group from New York, Fireworks, is going to do sort of a survey of American classical music, and that'll be October 13. They are absolutely phenomenal as well. These two beautiful women from Canada have won They're two of the hottest music stars in Canada and have won the Juno Award there, which is the top Canadian award there at Grammy, and are, I think, about to take the world by storm. They'll be here in the fall. Dala. And Chorus Line, the national touring company from New York, will be here for 2 days.
Thousands audition, 24 get to the stage, but in the end, only 8 will win the chance to dance. This is the story of the ones who make it and the ones who don't.
One of the longest running Broadway shows of all time, and Marvin Hamlish, who just passed away, did all the music. Michael Bennett was the director and choreographer. It's an amazing show, and we're going to be presenting that in October. The Capitol Steps, just when we're all about ready to throw up over politics, these people are going to help us get through it. These are former pages and clerks in Washington, D.C. who come together to spoof.
Your investments are now misbehaving. Your retirement prospects are caving because all of your hedge funds were run by Bernie Madoff. You need some help with your 401k. Just join me.
These guys, we take a survey every year, and those folks are the #1 group on the survey every single year, so we're really happy to bring them here. These gentlemen are going to be here. They are two of the phenomenal company actors from the Oregon Shakespeare in Ashland. And they'll be here to do kind of a survey of Shakespeare, what it's like to be a Shakespearean actor, what it's like to work in a huge ensemble like that. They'll do monologues and Q&A, and then we'll have a little meet and greet with the whole audience and the actors after the show. This is for the younger set, but this is a collaboration between the Broadway Center and the Tacoma Symphony, where we will bring video games and the symphonic sounds of the scores of all of those video games. Been happening in Seattle for a couple of years, sells out every time with the Seattle Symphony. It's a great crossover program for young and old alike. There'll be video games to play in the lobby afterwards. One of the greatest mariachi bands of all time will be here from Mexico, Mariachi Vargas, and these guys, nobody better. We're excited to bring them here as part of the incredible diversity that we offer in our programs. We have a series of programs throughout the year that are really trying to reflect authentic Northwest, authentic Tacoma. We've been in partnership with Emmanuel Presbyterian Church in the North End to host indie music concerts there. Those two have been selling out, been lighting up the blogosphere. The tickets are incredibly cheap, just $16, and we do a variety of events of those indie music events at the church. This year also we're going to be launching a new program called Tacoma Work Life Magazine, and this is, imagine a magazine on stage that will give you short vignettes, what's going on at the Tacoma Art Museum, and then what's going on at Gray Lumber. We'll give a background on different histories of businesses and nonprofits and service clubs and all sorts of things. So you'll be leafing through 5, 6, 7 minutes. There'll be crossword puzzles on stage that you can participate in, all sorts of fun stuff. An extension of that is a lecture program where about 20 different lectures will be given over a 10-hour day, and you can kind of drop in and out of those. TEDx Tacoma, following the technical, environmental, and design team out of Monterey, California. For 60, I don't know how many years, 67 years, the city, the Broadway, the city, and Joint Base Lewis McCord have lit up the holiday tree downtown at the corner of 9th and Broadway. And so we'll do that on 67th annual. And we'll do that on November 24th. And for the last few years, we've been hosting a movie. That will be a sing-along Sunday. Music, a lot of fun. These guys are nuts. This is Uncle Bonsai and Christine Lavin. They will be here to kick off the holiday season with a sort of Festivus for the rest of us celebration of the holidays. Great voices, great harmonies, and very funny singer-songwriters. The next installment of our classical music series and the Americana series is the Rose Ensemble doing a early American Christmas tribute. Beautiful music. Shine all around us by day and by night. That'll be December 1st in the Pantages. Should be in the Rialto, actually. And the Seattle Men's Chorus will be in the Pantages. Joyful and triumphant, come ye, oh come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, for the King of angels. These guys are amazing entertainers. This program sells out every year, so if you want to come to this, make sure you get your tickets early. December 13th in the Pantages. Neil Berg is one of the top Broadway producers, and he puts together this show specifically for us, and will be bringing it to Tacoma. Top Broadway stars doing a song and dance tribute to Broadway in early January. 101 years of Broadway. A Pale and Lovely Place. Many of you know the local actor and artist Kevin Joyce, which that's about the most frightening picture I've ever seen of Kevin. Kevin is an amazing performer. He's also the host of many nonprofit auctions around, and is one of the most talented people I know in the Northwest. He has written a one-man show that is a mixture of comedy and sort of poignant critical review of our times with A Pale and Lovely Place. For the last 5 years, we have been paying tribute to this man, August Wilson, who is one of the great playwrights of all time and is a Northwest legend, since passed away. Wrote a play for every decade of the 20th century, and we have been mounting those plays in staged reading form, 2 plays a year. These are the last 2 plays representing the 80s and the 90s. Zoe Keating. One of the most remarkable cellists you will ever hear, but what she does is has live inner feedback with the computer recordings that she's doing, and so she layers the music live time. The National Circus of Australia, Circus Oz, will be here for 3 performances. These guys are Cirque du Soleil on steroids and testosterone. As you can imagine, anything out of Australia does not come shy, and these guys are absolutely familiar. They're live band on stage, incredible artistry, 3 shows in early February.
Boys and girls, welcome to Circus Oz!
Ed Asner will be here, the star of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I'm reminded of my good friend, Governor Al Smith, when he was asked to say a few words of cheer to the inmates of Sing Sing prison. The governor, forgetting who his audience was, began by saying, "My fellow citizens." The inmates, the convicts, realizing they lost their rights as citizens, began to laugh. The governor, realizing his mistake, began again. This time he said, "My fellow convicts."
So Mr. Asner will be here in February, and for the top ticket price, there'll be a meet and greet with him after the show. Sweet and Spicy is a Valentine's tribute, sort of a sexy, snazzy burlesque show that will happen with music, and actually Kevin Joyce and his wife Martha Ensign will be co-hosting that and bringing artists from all over Western Washington to participate in that burlesque program. Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly. One of the top selling artists of all time. Roberta Flack will be here. Then the next series of movies, Judy Garland, so we'll be presenting
Judy Garland as the star, and you'll never forget James Mason as Norman Maine, clinging desperately to the only real love he'd ever known. There's Jack Carson, Charles Bickford, all bringing inspired life to a story that only life itself could have inspired.
My heartstrings from the moment I saw it, I fell.
Meet Me in St. Louis is the tender, romantic story of the most popular young beauty of the early 1900s.
And with each one of the movies that we offer, whether the Hitchcock or the Garland, we offer about a 5-minute lecture in advance just to give you some backstory on the movies. The next in the Philharmonic Americana music is Mark O'Connor. Mark is one of the great violinists in modern times. He's been commissioned to write American music. So he'll be doing a tribute to Appalachia and a tribute to the Hudson River Valley on his visit to the Pantages in March. Whim Whim is a Northwest dance troupe, remarkable. Love those guys. And Simone Shaheen will be here in late April. Simone is an Arab musician, plays the oud, the guitar as well, and is one of the best finger stylists in the world. He'll be here actually for about 2 weeks doing residencies in the schools with us. Incredibly wonderful man. David Sedaris comes every 2 years, sells out every single time.
Doubting that anyone could not know who they're voting for, I inevitably think back to November 1968. Hubert Humphrey was running against Richard Nixon, and when my mother couldn't make up her mind, she had me do it for her. It was crazy. 1 minute I was eating potato chips in front of the TV, and the next I was at the fire station, waiting with people whose kids I went to school with. When it was our turn, we were led by a woman wearing a sash to one of a half a dozen booths, the curtain of which closed after we'd entered. "Go ahead," my mother said. "Flick a switch, any switch." I looked at the panel before me. "Start on the judges or whatever, we'll be here all day, so just choose a president and make it fast." "Which one do you think is best?" I asked. "I don't have an opinion," she told me. "That's why I'm letting you do it. Come on now, vote." I put my finger to Hubert Humphrey and then to Richard Nixon, neither of whom meant anything to me. What I most liked about democracy, at least so far, was the booth. Its quiet civility, its atmosphere of importance. I said, wondering how long we could stay before somebody came and kicked us out. Ideally, my mother would have waited outside, but as she said, there was no way they'd allow an unescorted 11-year-old to vote. Or even hang out, seeing as the lines were long, and the polls were only open for one day. "Will you hurry it up, please?" she asked. "Wouldn't it be nice to have something like this in our living room?" I asked.
So David will be here late April. Always looking forward to that. The last installment of our Americana series, Christopher O'Reilly, the host of From the Top on NPR, and Matt Heimovitz, incredible cellist. They're going to be celebrating this album, Shuffle Play Listen, which is a double album. The first half plays tribute to classical music done with contemporary approaches, and the second half is contemporary music done with classical approaches. And we've got Usual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Okay, let's see what we have. All the animals we have been raised on bottoms of milk. We're used to people that are very comfortable here. This is an African monitor lizard. Who likes snakes? We can sure use another volunteer. Okay.
So we'll have live animals on stage. Hopefully not the 17-foot, 7-inch python they discovered in Florida yesterday. And then Tony and Tina's Wedding. So this is an amazing comedy that is live on stage with audience interaction. So the audience arrives, they're going to a wedding, the priest is there, the wedding is concluded, and then the party begins, and the marriage falls apart right in front of you as you're going. So it is just so much fun. The tickets include dinner and the wedding cake and the champagne toast. So it's really one of the longest running off-Broadway hits of all time. I think that's it. So as you can see, we have quite a variety of programs. We hang our hat on the diversity of the work that we do. And part of the backstory on why that diversity and variety is so important is that these theaters are owned by the citizens. And we work really hard to make sure that all of the citizen owners are reflected in what shows up on our stages. And that's been a model that we've been really deeply, deeply committed to for the last 6 years. And because of that, our ticket sales have quadrupled. Our donations have quadrupled. We were at about a $1.7 million a year budget. This year we're hitting a $4.5 million a year budget. So we've come a long way. And I think it is because we focus on being relevant to the community. And I will say that is much the same as the closest partner that we have in the arts world is the Art Museum. And I think their success is because they focus on relevancy and serving the community as well. So we're thrilled to be good partners with the Art Museum, love the work they're doing, so excited by the gift that was announced recently. I think it's going to be raising all boats for Tacoma. Thanks for having me.